no information about Elias whatsoever. Ddraig's last race, though, he finished with a time of 1 hour and 35 minutes. So we'll see if he can actually improve this, as they're ready to go. Classic start for any category of Metroid Zero mission, just pick up the marble at the very start of Brindstar. So let's just explain the basics of the category, since it's obviously 100%. You know that in every Metroid games there's a specific percentage at the end of the run that will be displayed. And the obvious thing is that the goal is just to get 100% of the items, being every single upgrade, every single suit, every single beam, every single missile tank, super missile tank, energy tank, power bomb tank. Just take everything you can. And obviously defeat the game, because that's the most important thing. So now that we're in Torian, Ddraig's about to start what we refer as the climb, this very hard section of movements and vertical jumps that we have to do in this area. It's very tricky because a lot of these jumps are actually much more precise than you can think, especially when you want to do them fast. So far, it looks like they're doing okay. Eliasthompson, unfortunately, missing a few wall jumps, but no problems. For the moment, he's just opting to go onto the platforms. Ddraig getting his first missile tank and is about to fight against the first mini-boss of the game, being the Worm God, or simply referred to as the Hearted Boss. He will try to hit 2 missiles at once. Let's see if he can get it. Unfortunately, didn't get it on the first time around. Might have attempted a second time. Just opts to shoot a missile and get spikes from it, which is a bit of RNG dependent, but you can somehow manipulate these spikes to not get them, which could have saved him a few seconds. Unfortunately, misses a missile. You have to take this missile drop, Ddraig. Oh, this could be dangerous. Oh, and the worm escapes. That's such a big time loss. Eliasthompson on his side, getting spikes as well, but he already got 2 shots. Only 1 more shot required, and alright, the missile got the worm gone. So that will be such a big time save over Ddraig. Ddraig now heading towards High Room with only 3 missiles, which is a bit concerning for the moment. Eliasthompson opting, he should take this missile. Alright, he gets it. Yeah, the spikes are actually destroyable like enemies. They act as enemies, so yeah, you can get drops from them, but it's very slow to get them since we want to kill the worm as fast as possible, and it obviously slows you down. So now in Hive Room, all these hives takes 3 missiles and 2 beam shot to kill, which can be such a problem because they both kill the worm. Well, actually, Ddraig missed the kill on the worm, but what we usually want to do now in 100% is to wait for the worm to drop the charge beam and then pick up the drops that come alongside with it to not be bothered with RNG problems. Since we obviously want as much missiles as possible into this room to get rid of these hives quickly. But now Ddraig has to go for a second round against the worm, attempting 1 more time the doubles but not getting it. Second shot is in, no spikes this time. And the kill is in. I think he might wait for the drops. Alright, there you go. And then picks up the charge beam. Eliasthompson taking many victory laps into this room, but at least he makes it safe and makes it through without any troubles. They're both alive, and that's what's more important. And now they're heading towards bombs. Taking a bit of a tumble, as these wall jumps on these platforms can be a bit tricky, as you can be bothered with those enemies walking around. Good wall jumps from Elias, making it up this room in a much easier way than Ddraig did. Picking up a few missiles along the way. missiles that can be and will be useful later on. So any missile drop at this point is actually very welcomed. Opting not to heal. Healing and race can be very useful since we need a lot of missiles later on. And eliasthompson actually opts to get the refill, very good strategy. And now that we have the bombs, we will have to kill a few bugs that are completely RNG dependent. We can't really manipulate them, killing them all with dropping a lot of bombs. And now this is where we can see a rail deviation happening. In Brintstar, you will either at this point see Ddraig going up or down, and he opts to go down, which is what I was expecting. You can either go for what we call late Brintstar or early Brintstar, and I think both runners will opt to go for late Brintstar. Thing is that that upper portion of Brintstar can be cleaned either right after bombs or right before going to Taurian, which is kind of halfway through the run. And it changes a few things. With late Brintstar, which is both runners are opting to do, you don't have to deal with many difficult infinite bomb jumps, but you will have less missiles and energy going for crates and later on heated rooms in Norfair. But by doing early Brintstar, you get more missiles which come to be useful in Kraid, and you get one more energy tank which come to be useful in Norfair. But with early Brintstar, you have to do a lot of bomb jumps that can lose you such a ton of time if you're not comfortable with them. Bomb jumps that you will not have to do if you do late Brintstar, simply because you will have much more items such as high jump or power grip that we obviously do not have right now at the start of the game. Yeah, that's definitely a thing that can happen. When you're not comfortable with these, Rippers can just get on your way, and even if you're a top runner, just missing one of them actually comes to cost you time. Ddraig needs to be very careful though, he only has 44 HP, but yeah, since there's no E-tank on his way before Acid Worm, he will need to be very careful with his health. He might opt to save entering this save room, not really sure. He will need a lot of missile drops though, since yeah, he will need missile drops anyway, since he will not have enough to kill Acid Worm at this point. Elias opting to get this E-tank in the ceiling right now. Not a bad decision if he's not feeling very comfortable going with only one E-tank in Kraid. This is where it gets dangerous for Ddraig. Alright, you can get one more head, just get through. Alright. He needs to be very careful though, since if he dies, he actually starts from the very beginning. Now that we are in Kraid, supposedly in casual plays we have both Power Grip and Ice Beam, which makes all these areas much easier, since we can use Power Grip to obviously grip the sides of the platform and use enemies as platforms themselves. But without these items, well, we need to use a lot of bomb jumps to make our way through these different areas. And they can be such a pain to land sometimes. But Ddraig at this point should be safe from any danger, since he will pick up an E-tank right now, and will get all of his health back. There we go, he is in no danger zone now. About to fight against the Acid Worm. Acid Worm needs 30 kills to 30 kills, yeah sure, 30 missiles to die. Good bomb jumps from Elias. And now the classic strategy for Acid Worm is just to make him start his pattern and just jump into the acid and spam missiles from below. Since we don't take a lot of damage from the acid in this game, we can just take the damage and spam the missiles away. He needs to be careful though, he already missed 3 missiles. I think he can only miss 1 missile. Alright, there we go. Finishes the fight with 0 missiles though, and only got 1 one missile drop is definitely not what you want. So optimally, after killing the acid worm, you want 10 missiles, since later on they will need to kill 2 gigantic side hoppers, which both take 10 missiles to kill. Quick math, 10 times 2 is 20. And thing is, you will pick up 2 missile tanks on your way towards them, so you will just be 10 plus 10, which is what you want. Although he only had 2 exiting the fight, and he already took one of the 2 missile tanks he needs to tank. So he will need a lot of missile drops, which is definitely not a comfortable situation for him. Meanwhile, eliasthompson is around the fight itself. And he might opt to actually take it in another approach to kill the acid worm. He might just trigger it and fire missiles from the side of the platforms. Yeah, that's what he will do. Which is the conventional strategy. As you can see, Ddraig now, he has to rely on RNG. And there we go. He has 20 missiles, so he has all the missiles he needed. The thing that can happen, as you can see on Ilias' screen, is that the acid can rise, which makes you lose a lot of time. Well, a lot of time. It's a bit abused, but a few seconds. But over time, it definitely adds up. As you can see, it's already been twice. But the worm is dead, and he only got 2 missiles, which is definitely not good. Both runners actually really got trolled when it came to RNG, although they both killed the worm with 0 missiles left, so you cannot always hope for the worm to drop you tons of missiles, since it really depends on you and your ammo management as well. They both started the fight with a lot of missiles and ended up with no missiles at all, so sometimes it's not only on the boss itself. You have to be a bit conservative with your own ammos. Ddraig getting rid of the 2 gigantic side hoppers. As Elias will need actually 3 missile drops to make it to 20. You don't necessarily need all 20 missiles right now, since the first side hopper can drop between 0 and 3 missile drops. So 0 to 6, technically. So usually when you're at 18, you need to be very, very unlucky to not get a single missile drop from the side hopper. So 18 is usually enough. Ddraig doing what we refer as the most boring room in the game, since the usual strategy was just doing this, taking a few ball cannons, sorry, to destroy these blocks. Joel, Magoo. Elias only has 14 missiles entering this room, so he will. Oh, and no missiles drops at all. He will need to kill that second side hopper with a lot of beams shots. And I think that when it comes to the damage, 1 missile is equivalent to 10 beams. So it will take him a very, very long time, and he might actually just die from it if he's not careful. Yeah, he's done for it, fortunately. He dropped down and was not able to just get back up or kill the side hopper in safety. So being dead now, he has to fight all over the game again. But meanwhile, Ddraig heading towards Grade. Could have got that shot. I think it's a 4-frame window to get that shot, destroy the block, and still make it into the tunnel. Unfortunately, missed his timing. Goes all the way around onto the eye door, and now about to fight Kraid. Kraid needs 15 missiles to die. The fight could be pretty standard. You just have to fire missiles into his mouth, but the window can be quite hard since you already need 1 missile to open his mouth and then continue to shoot missiles into his mouth. But with this claw getting into your way, it can be really tricky, and when it turns orange like this, that middle platform that Ddraig is standing on is just going to disappear. Ends up getting the fight anyway. But eliasthompson right now is for another lap into Brinstar, as he had to restart all over again. Now in position on the speed booster, Ddraig will have access to one of the most beautiful mechanics of this game, the Shine Spark. When you just crouch when you have that extra speed coming from the speed booster, you can just release it to dash into a specific direction. You can do it vertically, horizontally, or even diagonally, although we don't use diagonal Shine Sparks in this game. But Shine Sparking is absolutely mandatory for 100% since there are a lot of tanks, missile tanks and stuff, that are actually hidden behind speed booster blocks. Unfortunately, Ddraig, missing this jump, he needed to jump at the very edge and just missed his timing. Yeah, Nick, I know you do, but it's your choice. I'm not going to commentate it, you know. Elias, now that he has to make it into high room again, he doesn't have all 4 missiles he'd like, so he wants 1 more missile and kill this enemy, but no missile drops coming out of him. High room with only 1 missile is definitely a pain. He will need to take a lot of damage from all these bugs right at the beginning, and it will definitely not work out in his favor. He already lost around 66% of his health, which might be very, very dangerous if he cannot clutch this high room. Thing is, oh, okay, I thought he actually got all 3 missile shots into it. It looked a bit weird, but it ended up working. Clutching it and actually making it to the other side of high room without dying, which was definitely not an easy task considering the start of it. But for now, Ddraig is heading towards Norfair for the very first time. Heading towards Power Grip, Ddraig will now pick up his second unload item, as on this side he will also get his first super missile tank using a Shine Spark trick. The primary reason of why we're adding into criteria at this point is simply because we actually need the Power Grip since there's a vine that actually blocks your path to the right side of Norfair, you can get up these platforms using bomb jumps if you don't have power grip anyway, but there's a vine that actually blocks you from going to the right side of Norfair, and the only way to remove it is just to pick up power grip, which is kind of a weird game design decision. Since there are a lot of shortcuts in this game, you can pretty much do any route you want. So blocking the player's path with just something that cannot be removed outside of just picking up an item is kind of a weird decision. But Ddraig right now getting the Shine Spark chains he wanted, and he's gonna pick up his first super missile tank. After picking up Power Grip, you can see that this entire statue is just rising, and that's kind of the Power Grip tutorial. There are a lot of platforms that actually come out of the hands of this statue. Thing is, you can't just do an infinite bomb jump to actually get to the top of the room before the tower has finished to rise. But Ddraig opting to just go for the wall jumps on the side and waiting for the top platform to appear, which doesn't lose a lot of time compared to the optimal strategy. It's about a few seconds, as this infinite bomb jump can be a bit tricky sometimes. The timing for double bomb jumping being quite precise, you cannot really just spam bombs away and hoping to get the proper timing. Ddraig now heading towards the Ice Beam. Norfair is another route where you can just have route deviations, since recently a few players have actually started to do another route that we simply refer as New Fair, being a route that actually takes Ice Beam before going to Ridley, which is kind of a weird decision. The route is very, very weird. There's a lot of backtracking in it, but it just comes out to be, on paper, if you can skip every single heal into Norfair, it actually comes to be just a bit faster. But it's kind of hard, and if you actually want to make it quicker than the original route, well, you have to do a lot of things that are not really beginner friendly. And now Ddraig will have its first interactions with all these heated rooms in Norfair. Norfair being a hot area, there are a lot of rooms like this one where you just could not afford to lose a lot of time in it, since you will be taking damage permanently due to the heat. And since we're not taking Varia Suit into this run, we will take damage all the way through these rooms, which is why having an extra E-Tank from this new fair route, which again just allows you to theoretically have an extra E-Tank because you will skip that first heated room that Ddraig did in the very first place. It can just save your day. But Norfair can definitely be an area that's actually very intense when you're not very accustomed to all these rooms and strategies. eliasthompson having a much better fight on the acid run this time around and getting more missile drops, so now he will not have to worry about RNG. So the disaster from last time should not repeat, and he should be able to actually kill both side opera in one time. Ddraig, you need to be careful and actually land that bomb at the very top of this chain, since if you break the bottom chain, well, you just cannot pick up that super missile that's on the other side. You can pick it up, but you will need to reset the room anyway, since as you can see, he wants to charge Shine Spark to get all the way across the room. Unfortunately, taking a hit from this enemy, so he will have to restart from the very beginning of the room to get his Shine Spark back. Thing is, obviously, if you're interrupted because you just stop walking or you're actually taking a hit while you're running, your Shine Spark changes get completely cancelled, and all the momentum you had needs to be completely recharged. Now picking up high jump, he will riffle at this point because there are a few heated rooms right behind this door that can be very tricky to get through quickly. There are a bunch of enemies that can actually hit you, and there's a specific diagonal bomb jump that you have to do that if you actually miss it too many times, you will just end up losing so much health from the heat that you will just die. And considering the health he had, he definitely needed to refill. So this is where he actually wants to bomb jump. Actually opting to do single bomb jumping vertically, and then he might just, alright, catches the block. Yeah, diagonal bomb jumping is not needed. It's the most optimal way, though. But yeah, vertical bomb jumping just got demonstrated by Ddraig, and it works just as well if you can actually make it worth. This time Elias actually has all 10 missiles he needed, so he gets rid of the side hopper without dying. Yeah, Elias is definitely new. As you can see, he dropped down well. The thing you do is that the side hopper will hug the right wall anyway, so you can just stand above the blocks and shoot him from above without the risk of actually taking a single hit. Yeah, Elias died in his very first run, since he actually dropped into the room with only 2 missiles and tried to kill him with beams only. So he just got bodied by this enemy. Now that Ddraig actually has the screw attack, you can see that he actually got all his health back. In Norfair, using the route he does, you usually go for only 1 heal, but you can obviously go for 2 if you don't feel comfortable with it, since the next heated room is about to enter can be very tricky at some points. A few precise jumps, as you can see, there are only 1 block platforms and sometimes, and not only the heat, but obviously if you drop into the lava, you will take both the lava damage and the heat damage, which can be very deadly if you don't have full energy. Makes it out taking around 250 points worth of damage. I think he's going to pick it up another upgrade, this time for his beam being the wave beam. Very convenient item that just lets you shoot through walls. Elias unfortunately missing the timing as well as Ddraig on this block, but just makes it back with a few bomb jumps. Now about to start the crate fight. Let's see how he does. Ddraig, meanwhile, so yeah, in casual gameplay, you will just shoot through this floor using the wave beam, but it's actually faster to use a missile. You can't just shoot. If you actually just jump into the ceiling and shoot missiles through it, Samus's cannon will just be through the wall that can actually allow you to kill that enemy with only 2 missiles. Elias got rid of Kraid, and now Ddraig's about to fight the Cocoon, which is one of the worst boss of 100%, to be completely honest. It's very hard to do quickly, it's very intense at some points. The boss in itself is not hard, you're not in any danger, you will not die on it, but it's just very hard to do quickly. As you can see, there are 3 vines of on each side of this enemy, each vine taking 3 missiles to be destroyed. Very good high wall jumps from Ddraig, though, to actually get these missiles into the vines, and now the Cocoon is down. As he's going to make his way into the relay area. Meanwhile, eliasthompson acquired the speed booster, and now he's going to be able to take the pleasure to release all these shine sparks. Entering relay and leaving relay. We don't want to do anything into this area. No, actually, the thing is that the Cocoon, we're not done with this Cocoon yet. As you can see, it's now gone on Ddraig's screen simply because it evolved into its final form, being the Imago Bee. Thing is, Imago only appears after we enter relay, so as soon as we enter relay, we just leave it to go and fight it. You can kill him in one cycle, though it requires precise timing on these missiles, timing that Ddraig was not able to hit, fortunately for him. Gets it on a 2 cycle, and he is going to be able to pick up another super missile tank. This super missile tank being the one that's originally designed to be the first in a casual gameplay. Making his way down there, Ddraig could have released a shine spark at the top of this room. As you can see, he's entering a tunnel to not worry about all these enemies, but if you're quick, you can actually get a shine spark change from Imago's room and release it at the top of the room, but it's kind of a tricky trick. Oh, falling down there. So that E-tank obviously is on the other side of the room with a fake floor that only disappears when you walk on it. Thing is, you can do a backup strategy that is just bomb jumping all the way back to the top of the room. Ddraig actually opts to take the legit path, which is walking all around this room from the other side, and takes the E-tank. So relay is a challenging area because there are a lot of tricks that revolve around shine sparking that in themselves are already hard and then very punishing if you miss them. Ddraig, as you can see, is going to try and freeze 2 enemies on top of each other because he wants to go for a specific glitch. Gets the setup and drops a bomb, kills both enemies at once, and drops into this room under the floor. So the thing is, when you actually manage to freeze both enemies on top of each other and kill them at the same time, the game will try to make you respawn on the second enemy, as the game considers that the first one is dead. But if you actually kill both at once, oh, Ddraig, no! He actually dropped out of this room, so now, since it's a crumble block, you can only break it by stepping on it. So if you're under it, no way to actually make it back into it. Oh, greedy decision, greedy decision. Shine spark to the right simply because he had to do a vertical spark and he was trying to press right to just get ready right here to grab the side of this platform, but pressed right way too early and ended up shine sparking to the right side. Having a lot of troubles to actually get into these missile rooms. So when you kill two enemies on top of each other, the way the ice that ice clip glitch works is that the game will actually just make you respawn on the enemy's spawn location, which just happens to be under the floor, so you can just clip through through these blocks. Otherwise, you would need to charge a Shine Spark on the other side, which takes a lot of time. So far, both runners are going for a late Bryn Star and just regular Norfair. So now that Healy has actually acquired his second unknown item, he will go for his first Super Missile Tank. I am not sure about what Elias is doing. Alright. So Ddraig on his side actually going to enter the second puzzle room in Norfair. I really don't know what Elias is doing. He probably doesn't know the route, so he's probably just adapting and trying to improvise on the spot, but you definitely just don't want to drop down here again after. Good second puzzle room from Ddraig. Falling out of this bomb chain can be very, very, very frustrating because you obviously have to reset the entire room to make the bomb chain respawn. Elias now about to do... No, actually missed it. He tried to jump, but you just have... When you're onto this pillar, you just have to get a Shine Spark going. Ddraig onto the third puzzle room, which is the speed jump. So what Ddraig is trying to do is that he has a few blocks to destroy with this beam, then one specific missile block in the middle here. Destroying these blocks is only the first step, since there's actually a lot of speed booster blocks that you have to get through using a jump right here. Alright, good jump from Ddraig. This jump is developer intended, there's no way around it, and it's only a 2 to 4 frame window, which is ridiculously hard. When you do it a few times, you finish to get the muscle memory down, and it just becomes a lot easier, but it's still very dumb to think about it. Elias really could not get this wall jump onto the top of this pillar. So far, Ddraig is in the lead by a lot. Like, I cannot give you an estimate, but he is in the lead by too much, I think, honestly. It simply appears that Ddraig knows what he's doing, while Elias definitely feels like someone who maybe hasn't learned the route yet, or at least not memorized it. I mean, yeah, even more than that, to be honest. Around 20 minutes. Alright, Elias finally got both of the Shine Spark he wanted and got his first Super Missile Tank. Mistakes have been made, yeah. As you can see on the LAS screen, it's just why spamming bombs to actually get an infinite bomb jump going isn't worth doing, simply because you can, as I said earlier on the Drake's perspective, you can get out of this room using a lot of double bomb jumping, but the method Elias used was just way too slow. So the platforms ended up spawning anyway. Ddraig now fighting Ridley, so Ridley is kind of a joke in 100%. You can just get into him, taking all the damage that you want since you have a lot of E-tanks. So to give you an idea, Ridley takes either 10 super missiles or the equivalent of 50 missiles to die, since he has exactly 1000 life points. Oh, Ddraig got actually no super missiles at all from this fight, which is definitely unfortunate. Leaving Ridley, you like 10 super missiles, and you have 3 specific places when you can get some supers. Ridley being the first one of them, and the second one being here, Speedway. Alright, Ddraig got 3 super drops out of it, which is not bad. But you definitely want a few supers from Ridley. Because obviously, the more you have to stop the farm, the more time you're losing. Ddraig now sitting on for what we call Jumpy Jumpy. He will try to use this enemy. Fortunately, that's a bit too low. He will not be able to go onto this platform above. Now it's right. He can just jump on it and grip the side of this platform to get this missile tank. As of right now, Ddraig cleaned the entirety of Ridley. That's one of the things we want. We want to clear the Ridley area entirely because we just don't want to get back into it. Because backtracking would be such an insane time loss. So at this point, we will not need to go back into Ridley anytime soon. So now that he's out, he will be heading towards Torian. But before, he will need to clean up the rest of Brinstar. While Elias is actually on his way to that right side of Norfair I was talking about earlier, blocked by that vine. Now that he acquired the power grip. Using some bomb jumping to get... Fortunately, oh, he had the right timing, but fortunately he dropped it. Not able to press right at the appropriate timing. Looks like Ddraig received a follow or something. Someone might have sent him bits. I don't know. But as Elias is making his way towards the ice beam, it looks like he's not really aware of what direction to take. He's actually taking this missile tank first. So now Ddraig needs to get a Shine Spark chain going. He actually needs to do a Ball Spark because in this game you can do Shine Spark as a Morph Ball. Getting into this tunnel and now conserving the Shine Spark chain, gets onto this platform and releases the Ball Spark right here. That's the only way to get the Super Missile Tank. There are a few different places from where you can start the Ball Spark, but in the end you always come into this direction and you always have to do it as a ball. So since Ddraig actually went for late Brinstar, he will clean up that upper portion of Brinstar right now, where you have a few missile tanks and energy tank to take. So as you can see, this big room he is in, usually to get up when you do early Brinstar, since you don't have high jump, you don't have power grip, you obviously have to do bomb jumps, and this is the advantage of late Brinstar, it is that you don't have to deal with difficult bomb jumps. But as I explained it earlier, obviously both routes have their pros and cons. Again, late Brinstar being the fact that you don't have to deal with hard bomb jumps, and early Brinstar being the fact that you have more missiles into Crate and more energy into Norfair. Both routes end up being almost equal. It's only about a matter of like 1 or 2 seconds when it's optimal, and when it's optimal, I mean not by human capacities, or at least you need to play to a perfect level to make it actually worth. But for humans, both routes actually end up very, very close to each other, so it's just runner's preference at this point. Ddraig opting to jump, or he actually jumped over this little, I don't know, this little module, I don't know what it is, but you can just shoot it and it will actually rise, allowing you to just get under it as a morph ball. Didn't know that, apparently. As Elias is actually fighting against the Cocoon, trying to freeze that Ripper. Oh, I just realized that Elias didn't even clean up the rest of... Ooh, no. Alright. So here's the problem for Elias. Elias definitely does not know the route. He doesn't have high jump. He doesn't have wave beam. So in any way, he will not be able to clean up Ridley in its entirety. Meanwhile, Ddraig, now that he cleaned out the entirety of Brinstar, he can actually get into Torian. So now that Ddraig is in Torian, he will actually need to get rid of all the Metroids in these rooms before getting to Mother Brain. So the thing is, Metroids, when it comes to RNG, they're almost the kings. It takes a random time for them to spawn. They can just start spawning immediately, or they can just chill in the background for 1 or 2 seconds. And then the drops are obviously random. Thing is, it takes 1 super missile or 5 missile for a Metroid to die. So obviously it's way faster to shoot super missiles onto every single one of them. But if you don't get any super missile drops, well, you can't go down below 4 super, which is why you see Ddraig actually starting to use regular missiles on Metroids. We want to keep 4 super missiles for the mother brain fight later on, since the strategy relies on cycling her with 4 missiles followed up by a super 4 times. So we don't want to go below 4 supers. There's a lot of RNG that comes into it, obviously. The more super missiles you get from the Metroids, the quicker you will be able to get rid of them. A few more Metroids to kill, and Ddraig will be able to get to Mother Brain. So he has 7 super missiles right now. He could use them, but actually opts to keep them. Thing is, you could get up to 8 supers, because before killing Mother Brain, you have to destroy the glass that she's protected by. And this glass takes either 4 super missiles or, as an equivalent, 20 missiles to be destroyed. So If he keeps these 7 supers, or these 3 extra supers into his back pocket to destroy the glass, it can definitely be a smart decision, since all these turret shots and Rinkas on your way can be such a pain at some points. Gets rid of the Zebatites using missiles only, and yeah, now switches to supers. Gets onto the platform, fires 3 of them, and switches back. There we go, 2 missiles. So now he will actually cycle Mother Brain, so... Alright. 4 missiles followed up by a super, and you will do that 3 more times. 4 missiles, 1 super. Oh yeah, oh no, he actually tried to do it reversal, but you cannot really do that, since Mother Brain closes her eye every single time she takes 100 damage, which is either by shooting 5 missiles or 1 super, which is why we want to do 4 missiles followed up by a super. 4 missiles takes it to 80 on their total count, and then we can go up to 180 by adding the super missile shot, which will obviously make her close her eyes, but that's the maximum damage we can do on her on 1 cycle. Still finishes the fight rather quickly for him, so I think it's okay. So while Ddraig is escaping, Torin, eliasthompson actually got into this room, into the first puzzle room where he will need to take all these assault tanks. Thing is, again, about eliasthompson, he doesn't have screw attack, he does not have high jump, and he doesn't have wave beam, so he will struggle a lot. Elias actually managed to get that missile tank in the ceiling, so now he's gonna drop back and get to the other rooms into Ridley. There are not a lot of rooms that he will actually be able to clean up. But again, he won't be able to clean Ridley entirely, since he needs Wave Beam to do Speed Jump. You can theoretically do Speed Jump without Wave Beam, but it's stupidly precise. It requires multiple frame perfect inputs and pixel perfect things. So it's a thing that, oh, Ddraig actually takes the map. So what you want to do with this map station is just jump over it, but the hitbox is so large that it can be tricky to skip sometimes. A bit of shame adding to the shame counter. Elias, so again, speed jump is a thing that you cannot really do without wave beam. It's a thing that top runners obviously do not do, because as I said, pixel perfect things come into account, frame perfect things come into account. It's just a thing that the task does because it's faster for the 2ST speedrun, but yeah, it's just something that Elias will not be able to do. And as you can see, he's skipping most of those puzzle room on the right side. But Ddraig, meanwhile, he's making his way through the Suitless section. So Suitless, you don't have your suit, you don't... Well, yeah, Suitless, you don't have your suit. Destructor 2019. Thank you. So you don't have all your powerful beams and missiles and ammo stuff. You only have that little pistol that, when it's fully charged with that bar that you can see right under Samus' health count, can stun pirates but not kill them. So the thing is, you just want to run. Every single time you take a hit from Pirate, it's 100 points worth of damage. So healing before starting Suitless is definitely the right decision for Ddraig. Hasn't taken a heat yet, but he might actually get hit later on when he will enter the Chosen Runes. Yeah, I'm a Cosmic Break person, Nick. I know. That's like commentary, like quality commentary. Avoiding this shot from the pirate, as Ddraig actually got detected by these searchlights. There is a fast strategy that you can do, but to avoid the searchlights. But usually, what you can do is just wait for the searchlights to get away from the door. But Ddraig didn't wait for it and just run through, which costed him a few seconds. Taking a hit there from the pirate falling off the platform, but it's alright, he can still take a lot of damage. Thing is, in 100%, since we actually have a lot of E-tanks entering this area, there's no such troubles about dying if you heal. You have so much health, there's no way you're going to die. Even for beginners, it should be okay anyway. Toothless is an area that does not really rely on RNG. Most enemies in the game have different patterns about the direction they will take, but pirates are completely determined around your own behavior. The way Samus moves around the room determines where the pirates are going to go and how they will behave. Whether they will just try and chase her, whether or not they will just stop and shoot her from the back. It's really on the runner. So if you do the same thing over and over, the pirates will do the same thing over, which is why Suitless is... It's dangerous because... Oh, actually, Ddraig manages to... That's a Sam strat and a half, if I can call it this way. The fastest strategy is just to get detected by... Oh, he actually got seen from below by these pirates. That's kind of unfortunate. You usually get detected by these eyes lights, but you can turn off the alarm using a specific strategy depending on the pirate behavior, which saves you around a second. But he actually decided to hide behind these blocks to not get detected by all these eyes, but ended up being detected anyway. So now he's gonna duck into the safe room to turn the alarm off and continue, since otherwise he would have need to wait right in front of the barrier to make it disappear. But getting into the save room, when you get into a save room and pirates are not able to see you directly, even if the alarm is on, it will turn the alarm off. Which is why if you get detected in this area, instead of just waiting in front of the barrier, just get into this save room. Oh, this room Ddraig is in can be very tricky. As you can see, if you don't get the right timing on the pirates and the right stun, you might end up taking a lot of hits. But still, again, a lot of E-tanks, a lot of energy, and you should be fine. You can still take 5 hits from the pirates, so he hasn't even lost half of it yet. And he's in the last room of Suitless. Last wall jump to do, and then he will be good to go. Or actually, Ops, yeah, unfortunately missing his first attempt at the wall jump, gets onto a platform to give himself a bit more safety, and now gets onto the last bridge. Doesn't even opt to shoot it. You can just fall off this bridge if you actually shoot it and don't even jump from it. So be careful, because if you do that, you have to reset the entire room, since there's no other way to get back up. Opting to refill before Charlie, which is a decision that I can definitely respect. Charlie can be such a troll boss if you actually just miss it in some way. But meanwhile, Elias is looking like he's making his way out of Ridley. He killed Ridley, so he can go to Turian right now, but thing is, He will need to come back into this area later on anyway, which will cost him a lot of time because of the backtracking. I'm not even sure if he can actually make it since he doesn't even have high jump. He can make it onto this bug using wall jump, but then he won't be able to actually get onto the side of this platform, so he will need to use bomb jumping from now on. And the bug might just come into his face at the wrong timing. So Ddraig now fighting the Charlie boss. Every single time this little appears on Charlie's mirror, you have to shoot it with a charged shot. It's important to have a charged shot. If your pistol is not charged, it will not work. And the time it takes for the sigil to appear is completely random as well. You can, in Sorway, make it faster by shooting yourself at the start of every single cycle, which saves around 1 second on average. But this strategy you can obviously go for only if you heal. You can go for it once if you didn't heal, but it's very, very risky. Good. Oh, nice positioning on the end since sigil was actually on its contact point. Just stops right at the end where it's supposed to be, and Ddraig is now done with this Suitless section. Sounds like he's worthy of the Chozo's grace as he gets his suit back. And he actually upgrades his suit since all the unknown items he picked up, he will now be able to make them evolve into Plasma Beam, Space Jump, and Gravity Suit. Also, one of the things that you might have noticed is that he actually got the Varia suit out of it. That's the reason why we don't take Varia suit in 100%, simply because after Suitless, the game will give it anyway. So taking it would just be a time loss, since the game will just be, you're worthy of taking the suit, just take Varia at the very same time. So now that Ddraig is on endgame, he's starting with one of the hardest chains in the game. Getting all the way to the top of this room, charging it on the slope, and now gets back down. Very nice. Ddraig gets this chain first try, which is very, very punishing if you miss it, since you have to go back all the way to where you started to get your Shine Spark going again. But he nails it. You will have to go back up a bit, though, to take this missile tank into this little tunnel. Thing is, you cannot get gravity. You cannot get gravity before Varia, since gravity is one of the unknown items that you take. And unknown items, as long as you don't have your other suit on after Suitless, they're only useful in the area you actually got this unknown item to destroy a few specific blocks that are not destroyable otherwise. And these unknown items become active only after Suitless. Gravity Suit being one of these unknown items, you could not get them before Varia. Since Varia actually just is being completely given by the game after Suitless. So now that Ddraig has got a few more items, the only thing he will want to do right now is go all the way towards the end of the game, and you think he will finish the game? Now, the thing is, it's 100%. If he wanted, he could go and finish the game. He does not have power bombs yet, but power bombs are not needed. Not at all. You can't finish the game without taking power bombs, which is I don't know, it's a thing. You can't finish the game without taking power bombs. I'm not going to complain, but in some way it's kind of weird to have a major item that is not necessary in some way. But it's Metroid Zero Mission, it's very, very open when it comes to the player's decision about what items you want to take, so it's kind of cool. But we're in a 100% tournament, we need every single item, and the thing is, the only power bomb we can take is the intended power bomb, being at the very end of the game. I mean, pause, do we even have power bombs in Metroid? I'm not even sure. I've never finished Nestroid, to be completely honest, but I don't remember having power bombs in Nestroid. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to say something stupid. Getting screw attack before space jump sounded weird to me as well, simply because, yeah, that's the joke.gif. Alright, thank you, Pulse. Wow, posting links into a Twitch chat, getting banned, Pulse more. Oh wow, I typed timeout memes more, and it actually just told me the user you tried to timeout doesn't exist. Does that mean I can timeout people without even being a mod? It sounds very weird. I'm not even going to try it. But now that Ddraig is actually closer to power bombs, he will finally be able to take them. And there we are, the power bomb tank. So unlike super missile tanks, power bombs are not something that we have. Early power bombs is not something that we have figured out, and it's very likely that we will never be able to, unfortunately. Theoretically, there's a specific power bomb in Norfair that we can quote-unquote get, but it requires kind of a weird glitch. I think it's called zombie hover or something. When you enter a specific room while you're dying since you're under lava, you're in the death animation, but you can still move around the room, although the room is completely blacked out. But then when you actually get the power bomb, you get it into your inventory, but right after you get out of it, you just die. So technically you cannot even get the power bomb. So yeah, early power bomb is not a thing. So now that Ddraig actually acquired his power bombs, he will have to clean up the rest of the game. He will need to revisit a few areas, such as Kraid or Norfair, to finish cleaning them up. I'm mostly focusing on Ddraig's screen simply because Elias does not know the route, and I'm very, very confused about his decision-making. Thing is, I can't really explain what he's doing because he's taking a lot of items, obviously, but he's taking them in such a weird order that I don't really understand his decision-making. He might just actually remember where the items are and just try to improvise on the spot. But so far, he killed both major bosses, so he can go to Torian, but he opts to actually clean up a bit of Norfair before going to Torian. Alright, sorry for the long silence, I'm finally back. Ddraig looks like he actually got through the melee chain. I don't really know if he power bomb or not. It looks like he did not actually, since he actually has the power bomb he needs. Oh, unfortunately, alright. Sparking up right instead of up left. So you might have seen him doing a kind of a hard Shine Spark chain all the way through this area. And Ddraig is even shaking his cannon. Looks like he's having a bit of troubles with starting this chain. Oh yeah, unfortunately he's really struggling to get his position. Looks like he's a bit angry with himself at this point. All right, get your speed back. Get on the spot. He was too late again. Elias, I think now he's going to go for the cleanup of the upper portion of Brinstar. Alright, good spark right now from Ddraig, and he can tank the landing side bomb. Ddraig, he tried to get a space boost around into this room. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get it all the way through. So he's dropping. He dropped a power bomb in the air, since there are a few power bomb blocks that were right under him that you will need to destroy anyway when you're back into this room again after cleaning up that broken Torian area. But dropping it early is definitely faster, since you don't have to wait for the power bomb to explode. You can just move on, and then when you will get back to it, blocks will already be broken. So only 2 items into this broken Torian area. There was 1 super missile tank. Okay, it was actually a power bomb tank right under the glass of Mother Brain. And the second one is hidden behind speed booster blocks. I think it's too high, Ddraig. He might bonk. Yeah, he bonked the tip of his head into the top of this wall. 2 ways to get through. You can do a Shine Spark, but the window is kind of precise. Or you can do a space boost. Space boosting is basically just jumping using space jump all the way across the room while you were actually running with speed booster. Alright, he actually got the frame where you can release a Shine Spark, and he gets through the wall and gets that missile tank. So now he's already out of Broken Torrent. And he's gonna head back towards Brinstar, but only for a few, like 20 seconds or something, just a kind of a transition to get 2 criteria, 2 crate, and finishing crate cleanup. Yeah, you're right, Pulse, actually. The thing is, yeah, when you have eye jump, usually you can just wait to reach kind of almost the apex of your jump, and you will be able to get the perfect lineup. So yeah, it's not as hard as it sounds. You're right on that. Ddraig, now he's back in crate, he has 3 more items to take. There's only 1 item in crate that you cannot take without having the gravity suit and speed booster. It's this item he's about to take. Since you need to do a ball spark, yeah, another ball spark into this this acid lake. Thing is, obviously, you cannot do a ball spark when you're slowed down by the acid, which is why you need gravity suit. Now that he has it, he is able to take the missile tank. But the other 2, you can technically get them earlier, since they do not require any specific items. But it's just faster to get them during the cleanup. Meanwhile, it looks like that Elias is finally on his way towards, he's finally making his way towards Torian. I didn't really follow. I think he actually got all the items he needed in Star. Definitely looks like he has all the items that he needs. That's a bit weird because he obviously didn't clean up the entirety of Ridley. And he might have not cleaned up a few other things in Warfare, but he still has at least 12 super missiles, all 9 heat tanks he has, and 195 missiles. He might have gone back to Ridley and cleaned Ridley, actually. I didn't really catch that since I was away for a moment. Yeah, Zero Mission has the same engine than Fusion, which makes... It just makes both games easy to play when you've played the other. It's kind of easy to switch between both games when you're a speedrunner. Both of them have their pros and cons, but the fact that they have the same engine just makes it that you're still in the same environment, which is definitely some comfort added to the thing. So the power bomb that Ddraig took in this room, this is the power bomb I was talking about, where you could technically get earlier, although you cannot, since, as I said, you die picking them up. Yeah, the gravity can be a bit different between Fusion and Zero Mission, honestly. And also when you're in the air, I feel like you look more floaty in Fusion than in Zero Mission, but I don't know. Personally, I don't really have too much troubles with it. Again, it's really runner dependent. Oh, Ddraig! Oh, all right. He tried. He tried. I respect that a lot. So in this room, what usually we could do is just do a Shine Spark at the top of this room to get across it, and not having to walk all the way through. But another hard strategy is to get a space boost, and it's definitely much harder because the timing of the space boost is very precise. And Ddraig tried. He tried the space boost, so I definitely respect this decision. He went for the show and almost got it. He actually got the first 2 jumps, but there are more than 2 jumps in the space boost chain. But he tried. I respect that. I wonder if we will see him going for it on the way back. I hope so. That would be very cool. Elias on his side, he's getting a few super missile drops that were desperate. He needed these super drop desperately, since, as I said, you need 4 supers on Mother Brain to kill her fast. Okay, he goes for the classic Shine Spark on the way back, as you can see. Space boosting isn't very, it's not really worth doing. You don't save a lot of time. On the way back, you don't even save half a second, and on the way on, you save 1 second, since you don't have to walk all the way to the door while conserving your speed. Alias now he's right in front of Motherbrain's glass. I wonder if he will actually make use of these extra super missiles to break the glass. Looks like he doesn't have to. Got 4 missiles into her eye. Now has to follow it up with a super. I wonder. All right, he goes for the spot. Good. Now that he's on it, yeah, just freeze. Take your time to freeze the Rinka. You don't need to press things, and just get your supers into her eye. Oh, nice. He actually gets them super early. So thing is, with Mother Brain, if you actually shoot her missile while she's opening her eye, she will not try to close it again. So this is a way we can go for double and even triple super shot into her eye. That was kind of cool to see. I mean, I won't be the one to argue with you, since I only did Super Metroid casually, and usually when people start a discussion with Super Metroid, it just gets so annoying to me that I don't want to go into a debate. But I won't be the one to add you or criticize you, since I prefer the game much more over Super Metroid. I think it just comes down to what game you actually grew up with. I grew up with Fusion and Zero Mission, and started speedrun on these games. So I definitely won't insult you to say this. What about quadruple super? Well, Scotty, if it's a thing, you just taught me that you can do quadruple supers, but I was not even aware of it. But I mean, only you would go for such things, and even you wouldn't go for such things in an actual PB attempt. So let's pretend quadruple supers are not a thing. Let's just pretend that double supers and triple supers are not even a thing. Oh, Ddraig, unfortunately, he missed the... He didn't manage to release his speed booster chain. Alright, actually he goes for the backup. He will just gonna go for the power bomb right in front of this door, as he will go back to actually get his speed booster charge back, and now has to ball spark into this little tunnel. And now Ddraig actually has all the missile tanks in the game. He has 246 missiles, which means that he has a maximum amount of 250 missiles, which is the exact amount of maximum missiles you can have in this game. Meanwhile, Elias, done with Torian, he's actually going to start his own section. I don't think I need to be worried about him not healing. He will heal. There's no way he doesn't. But meanwhile, Ddraig, he has to clean up a few more items into this section. Oh, alright, Elias skipped the map! There we go. That's what I like to see. Ddraig got the map, little reminder, but Elias managed to get a good jump over the hitbox of this map and skips it. Nice. Fusion is stats only. Yeah, Metroid Zero Mission is the remake of the Metroid that originally came out on the NES. Elias needs to be careful. He's only at the beginning of Toothless and he already took 2 hits from the pirates. He needs to be careful about his health. He might actually just opt to save or heal at some points, which would be definitely recommended. So now you might wonder why Ddraig is going all the way back towards Charlie. Well, simply because all these power bombs he used are made to destroy all the power bombs block that are on his way, because they're actually blocking this little power bomb tank that's hidden right here. Yes, you get to it on Toothless, but you're on Toothless, you cannot take this item. This power bomb tank that he just took is simply called the out of the way power bomb because it's a stupidly long detour to get just for a single power bomb. And yeah, when you play it, you're just making your way through this section again, which is not so pleasant to do. Like, even when you run it, yes, you have a few jumps to do, but it's mostly about killing pirates all over again, so there's no fun at all in actually just cleaning up all this area again. So yeah, out of the way power bombs is your... So now that Ddraig has a few more, he only has a few more items to collect. He already cleaned up the right side of Glass Tube. So now he will need to clean up the bottom portion of the mother brain chip. Mother brain chip of the mother... Wait, what is it called? Space Pirate Mothership. There we go. I finally got the name right. You cannot get the power bomb here in Toothless simply because there's a missile block, and obviously in Toothless you don't have access to your missiles. You cannot collect a single item in Toothless. even the power bomb that you can see the pirate carrying on, both the power bombs and the pirate are an illusion. They don't have a hitbox. It's easy to see when you play a randomizer of this game because you can do Suitless with your armor when you're doing randomizer, and obviously when you have Morph Ball, you're way faster into these little tunnels than when Samus is crawling, so you can just catch up with the pirate and get through it. So yeah. The power bomb that is being carried on by the pirate is completely illusional. They're not existent. Yeah, exactly. They may not be hidden right behind a power bomb block, as the out-of-the-way power bomb is hidden right behind a missile block, but originally you cannot even get to this missile block without destroying the other power bomb blocks that were on your way. Ddraig now cleaning up the bottom portion of the ship, while Elias is making his way through Suitless. Cleaning up the bottom portion of the ship. A thing that we can do is the first power bomb tank that we actually get, we can do a little glitch that allows us to save one power bomb early on by clipping through a power bomb door, which allows us to just have one extra power bomb, and we just end up actually cleaning that bottom portion of the ship early on. But with the route he's using, he didn't go for the clip through the door, so he ended up cleaning that bottom portion of the ship at the very end of the run. And now he almost has all the ammos and tanks that he needs. He only needs one more E-tank. The classic, the lovely, the traditional space jump E-tank. Will he go for a space jump though? I would love to see it. I would love to see it. That would make me happy. Using a few more extra power bombs that he has to make his way through these different areas where you have all these bomb blocks to destroy. It's long, it's slow, but with a nuclear explosion coming from that power bomb, just make your way through it quickly. Ddraig taking a bit of a Elias taking a bit of a tumble into this room, unfortunately, as he's getting chased by the pirates. But meanwhile, Ddraig making his way towards the end of the game. One item has to collect. Speed gaming as a brand, I think, is managed by Americans. I think. Although admins and mods might be more knowledgeable about this than me. Alright, looks like Ddraig, he actually broke the speed booster block. He's gonna go for the Shine Spark across this room, which is the conservative option, but definitely not the bad option. What you can do is just space jump around this room to actually get to the E-tank, which is the most optimal option. But with all these tripwires, it is very, very risky since there's a barrier right in front of the E-tank, and if you hit a tripwire, the alarm will turn on and it will just make it. What am I saying? It will just make the barrier rise, and you won't be able to take the E-tank. So the speed booster is a very safe option. So I think Ddraig has everything he needs. We'll see about oh my god, we'll see it in about a second, and he does. All right. So the thing is, Mecha Ridley is the final boss of this game, and when you have 100%, exactly 100%, he has triple health and will do 2 times more damage. In any percent, Mecha dies in only 6 super missile shots. So if you actually see that it takes multiple super missile shots and that he's not already turning different colors, it means that you have all the items. And Ddraig indeed has 100% of the items. And he's currently on PB pace since his only run, I think it was his holiday run. The last race he did, he finished with a time of 1 hour and 35 minutes. And now he's definitely on a 134 pace. Maybe even 133, he feels very, very quick. Meanwhile, Elias fighting against Charlie is actually getting really trolled by these patterns that Charlie is giving him. Alright, gets the last shot, and he's done with it. But meanwhile, Ddraig, he only has one last item. What am I saying? One last trick to go for, which is kind of important. He has to go for the escape spark. We'll see if he can actually handle it. So he will push that work bot all the way back using a few missiles. And he will try to set up accordingly. Okay, he will not... no, the setup is wrong. So, yep. He doesn't have the right setup. Okay, he will just opt to break all the speed booster blocks. Ddraig, come on. What he wants to do is to actually do what we call a shine break, which is destroying the speed booster block while crouching to actually keep the speed booster alive. But yeah, what he should do is just run off, break the speed booster blocks. Oh geez. Okay, he gets the recharge. That was not necessary to do a ball spark here, but he actually keeps it and gets all the way to the top of this room and releases the ball spark. There we go. He is on his way towards the end of the game on a comfortable 133 pace, and only has the two Black Pirates to defeat. Not hard in themselves, as you have a ton of health. They are kinda solid, but some more beam shots into them, and they are gone. And Ddraig is a winner today, as it finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 30 seconds. GG to Ddraig. But meanwhile, Elias is actually... he's done the Charlie E tank. So now he has to get back out of this room using another Shine Spark. Now he's going to head towards the power bombs. Alright, and it looks like... okay. So now that Ddraig is gone, it's only up to Elias to finish this run, but thing is... yeah. Eliasthompson said he would actually forfeit when Ddraig will be done with this run, and spoilers alert, even though it's not on his screen yet, I'm informing you that Elias has actually forfeited from this race, so it is now over. He will not finish his run. So it looks like we're almost done. We will wait for Ddraig's in-game time to appear, but GG's to both runners. Elias definitely tried his best at some points. But yeah, definitely not familiar with the route, unfortunately, but he was actually on a good pace for him. The fact that he actually died very early in this race might have been kind of hard to handle. Usually when you die into a race, it's definitely mental breaking. You don't really want to keep playing at this point. But he actually sticked through and decided to continue, so really good props to him for this, as he actually tried his best. it looks like no one is going to go for an interview. So as Ddraig finishes with an in-game time of 110, that's a 110. That's a 110 from Ddraig. So 110 is kind of like the dream time, but 110 RTA and not in-game time. 110 is kind of the dream time for a Metroid Zero Mission 100% speedrunner. 110 being a time that only 5 runners have managed to get. So yeah, if you want to crack the top 10, if you want to crack the top 5 of this category, you need a 110, and much better than that. So yeah, GG to Ddraig as he actually got a new PB, and GG for Elias for his resilience and persistence into this run. But so far it looks like we're done for today's race. So let me just pull up the schedule really quickly to see. So this is the third round of this Swiss system, and it is not done yet. We still have a few more races to go. So far, I don't really remember if there's a. Oh yeah, so there's an upcoming race this Sunday, Sunday the 7th, between Monkey SMB and Mandatobi. It's going to be a fun race, I think. Both of these runners are really capable, and they have around the 112 and 113 times, so it's going to be a very cool one to see. So far, it looks like we're gone. We're done. Not we're gone. I'm not gone yet. I'm not gone yet, but yeah, congratulations to Ddraig for the PB. GG's again to Elias for his resilience into his run. And next time we will see a Metroid Zero Mission speedrun stream on Speed Gaming will be on the 7th. So in 4 days between Mandatobi and Monkey SMB. I think it was at 2 p.m. Eastern. Let me just check that again. Where's the schedule? There we go. Yeah, at 2 p.m. Eastern this Sunday, so don't miss it. The Speed Gaming channel is still to be determined, but it's going to be on one of the Speed Gaming channels rather. So just keep watching the schedule if you want more Metroid Zero Mission actions. But for now, I am done with this for the moment. So thank you guys for sticking around and watching. I hope you will have a great day and see you around for another of my races or another one where I will commentate. Bye, everyone.